Severe weather for the southern plains, and that includes all hazards, but we have flash flooding going all the way from the southern plains, central plains to the northern plains. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pew. Today is September 17, 2025. So starting with severe weather, we have a slight risk or a 2 out of 5 specifically in the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle area, and that includes borders of New Mexico, Colorado, and also Kansas. And within this risk, we have a 2% chance to see an isolated tornado, 5% chance to see winds greater than 60 miles per hour, but a 15% chance to see large hail. But in terms of flash flooding, we have a marginal risk going all the way from the southwest to the central plains to the northern plains, and a slight risk specifically for South Dakota. And a lot of these areas have already been seeing rain in the last 24 hours, so the soil is already moist, and so it's going to have a harder time retaining the additional precipitation. So those in the marginal flash flood risk areas may see an additional inch of rain, but places in like South Dakota may see 3 inches or greater. So the time frames of when this is all going to occur, starting with the southern plains, it looks like things are going to start around 21Z, or that's 4 p.m. Central Time or 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And these storms are going to travel southeast to eastward, but places like Kansas and Oklahoma may see an additional thunderstorms or showers overnight into next morning. And as for the northern plains, you guys have already been seeing rain yesterday, today, and it's going to continue on this evening, overnight, and into tomorrow. And speaking of rain, I want to jump to the Pacific really quick because we have remnants of Tropical Storm Mario that will be entering California by really late tonight. And so overnight, places like Southern California can expect some showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two. And so through the morning of Thursday and throughout the day, we do have a marginal flash flood risk for California, Arizona, and New Mexico. And there is a tropical disturbance where there's a 70% chance of something forming in the next 48 hours. So in the near future, probably by next week, that's something to look out for future monsoons. Now jumping to the Atlantic, we do have Tropical Depression 7, which is going to eventually be Tropical Storm Gabrielle. Now it does look like she formed on the borderline of the latitude that we would be concerned if she were to track to the States, but it looks like she may be following Hurricane Aaron's path, where she's going to go north of Puerto Rico, head towards the States, but then drift eastward away from the States. Now obviously that's looking way far ahead, so we'll just have to keep an eye on her. And behind that, we do have a tropical disturbance where there's a 10% chance of something forming in the next 48 hours and a 20% chance of something forming in the next 7 days. Okay, now back inland, if we look at 500 millibars of midway through the troposphere, we still have that really broad shortwave trough in the central plains. And similar to yesterday, we still have pretty decent shear, which is going to tilt those updrafts and prolong the storms. And we have a lot of vorticity all around this area, and that's going to give us a lot of spin and a lot of updrafts and a lot of upward motion into these areas. And so yesterday we had a surface low that formed in the eastern Rockies and then traveled eastward to the central plains, and we still had that present today. And in addition to that, we do have another low in the southern Colorado area, and we also have a high pressure in the south. And with these two combined, it's not too strong, but we do have a little bit of a high wave of moisture going from the Gulf into the plains, into the central plains. And with this low pressure in the central plains, it is accompanied by a warm front and a cold front. That cold front is providing a lot of surface lifts, but eventually these fronts will turn into more stationary, which is going to provide more consistent surface lifts. And with that, this low pressure is basically just recycling all this moisture into the central plains, producing a lot of showers consistently. And that's why we have